What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Video Game Book Club. It is finally March, and it is finally time for Mega March. Forget basketball for a second. Focus on the Blue Bomber. Because in today's video, I'm going to be looking at some classic Mega Man games from the NES. I am covering 4, 5, and 6 just to finish off that series because those are some of the best games on the Nintendo. I don't care what Daniel says. Daniel hates Mega Man. So his opinion doesn't really matter here. Let's just go ahead and get into these. Mega Man 4, 5, and 6 are all Capcom classics released in North America in the early 90s for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Unfortunately for Capcom, fans regard Mega Man 4 as a representation of a downward spiral of quality from the original 3 games in the series. In 1992, Mega Man 5 was met with mostly positive reception, but failed to impress critics on all fronts. But come on, let's be honest. This game was not made to please critics. It was made to please its fans. Like me, which it did. With Mega Man 6 releasing for the NES in 1994, Capcom had no interest whatsoever in publishing the game for North America, since they were ready to move on to the more powerful Super Nintendo. And who could blame them? For this reason though, Nintendo of America had to step in and publish the game themselves. Reviews favored Mega Man 6, but most all viewed it as a redundant sequel, which is much better than Daniel, who views the entire series as useless. Graphically, there's not much different between the 3 games, aside from some updates to the Mega Buster Blast and charging animation after Mega Man 4. Mega Man's sprites are crisp and clear, the enemies throughout the stage look gorgeous, and even the Robot Masters are all very detailed to be 8-bit. The animations on the characters, as well as throughout the level, are all done with pixel perfection. Mega Man is the definition of saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They nailed the graphic styling with Mega Man 2, and just continue to improve like Luigi. You know, by doing nothing. You get it? No? Luigi wins by doing nothing? Nothing registering there? No? Oh, okay, well, let's move on. There really isn't that much more to say about the visual experience of these 3 Mega Man games, other than they are works of pixelated art, even though Mega Man 6 tries to change their formula after the boss selection screen. But that's okay, everything else is very comparable, so all is forgiven Mega Man 6, just don't let it happen again, damn it. The gameplay side of Mega Man 4, 5, and 6 is where things start to actually change a little bit. You travel through different stages, taking cheap shots and dying numerous times while trying to learn enemy patterns before facing off against a Robot Master, and then moving on to Dr. What? No, wait. This sounds kind of familiar. Oh well, f*** it. Mega Man 3 added the ability for Mega Man to slide, and Mega Man 4 builds on that with the option to charge his Buster for a more powerful shot. It was stated that the development team was mindful that this innovation would change the overall feel of the game, which, in all honesty, it kind of does. Personally though, I like the addition, even if it does tend to make the game a little easier. If you don't like using a charged shot, don't charge it. The only thing I don't like about this is that Mega Man turns green while charging, which is kinda weird and the charging sound can grind on your ears a lot. Trust me, it will get annoying. Mega Man 5 doesn't really add much in the form of different gameplay from any of the other previous releases. The music here is a touch better than 4, but not nearly as memorable as that of Mega Man 2. I mean, come on, the Dr. Wily stage, the intro, you can't beat that. Capcom also cleaned up the Mega Buster charging animation as well. Mega Man is no longer green, which is really nice. However, Mega Man 5 does give us Beat, a robot bird that hunts down and attacks enemies. Apparently he's great for some boss fights, but since I failed to unlock him by discovering the 8 letters throughout the game, I can't really show you any of that footage. My bad, guys. But here are the letters you need to find in order to unlock him, so that's good. Mega Man 6 offers up more chains than I was expecting upon playing it. Gone are the rush power-ups where he comes in to assist you, and now you merge or fuse with him to form 2 new Mega forms. But don't try sliding in these forms, because you can't. Sorry. Jet Mega Man allows Mega Man to hover or fly to high ladders or items, usually reached by the rush coil or the wire adapter. Side note, this is actually the form Mega Man is in on the cover art for this game as well. Power Mega Man allows Mega Man to use a very short range but extremely powerful blast. It's great for busting blocks to find hidden paths, 1-ups, and E-tanks, and even killing Mets while they are still shielded. That's not all they added in here either. There are some levels that have branching paths for you to discover. However, these paths usually require one of, if not both of, the new Rush adapters. These paths aren't required to beat the level, but you will need to take them in order to unlock Beat in Mega Man 6. Which I did! I just never used him in my playthrough. I kind of forgot he was there, if I'm going to be completely honest about it. I can tell you, Beat cannot be used in boss battles for Mega Man 6. So there's that. Luckily for fans, however, each game has kept the password system. So should you feel the need to take a break and come back, you can always jot that down in your Trapper Keeper to use later. Okay everyone, I've got some story-specific spoilers coming up, so if you don't want the main story of a Mega Man game to get ruined, just go on and skip ahead now. You may be thinking that you know the exact story for Mega Man 4, 5, and 6. And you know what? For the most part, you may just be right. However, these games throw in a few surprises in an attempt to make them a touch more interesting than the rest of the series. Mega Man 4 starts off like all Mega Man games. You get a brief history that Dr. Light and Mega Man have stopped Dr. Wily 3 times prior. But now, a new, mysterious doctor, Dr. Cossack, has invented 8 powerful robot masters. And you'll never believe me, but those 8 robot masters, guess what? They're after Mega Man! Holy shit! Now the fun begins. You play your way through the 8 stages until you finally unlock Dr. Cossack. Much like Dr. Wily in previous iterations of the series, the fight to get to Dr. Cossack is split up into parts. Once you make your way through all of the sections of Cossack's Citadel, you finally get to face off with the evil doctor himself. However, while you're fighting with Dr. Cossack, a familiar face appears with a passenger in tow. Proto Man interrupts the fight and delivers Kalinka before making his exit. Kalinka, as it turns out, is the daughter of Cossack, who was kidnapped by the very much still alive Dr. Wily. Kalinka pleads for Mega Man to stop fighting her father, and that he only did all of this because Dr. Wily instructed him to after kidnapping her. Once Kalinka and her father are reunited, Cossack's machine is destroyed and Dr. Wily shows up. Angry that Proto Man has betrayed him, he threatens to break Mega Man before getting away in his little ass ship to the newly constructed Wily Castle. From here, the story is basically the same as every other Mega Man game. You fight through all the sections of Wily's new Skull Castle with a new boss at the end of each stage. You eventually come up on the series staple boss rush type level where you must fight each robot master once more before moving on to Dr. Wily. Defeat Dr. Wily, watch him escape, again, and then you escape, and you watch his castle explode. Then you ride a train home to Roll and Rush. Mega Man 5 takes place a couple months after the events of Mega Man 4. Mega Man's brother, Proto Man, who returned Kalinka in Mega Man 4, has now kidnapped Dr. Light and is leading another army of robot masters on a destructive rampage. In Dr. Light's absence, Dr. Cossack steps in to help Mega Man out. He creates Beat, a robotic bird that will attack enemies on screen. In order to receive Beat from Dr. Cossack, you have to find 8 hidden letters that spell out Mega Man V. V being the Roman numeral for 5, if you didn't already know that. I failed to do this while playing through, so I can't really show you this. Hashtag, I'm sorry. After once again fighting through the 8 Robot Master stages, you are welcomed into Proto Man's fortress, which, like every other fortress, citadel, or castle in the series, is broken up into separate parts. Play your way through all of the sections to meet up with your brother who nearly destroys you with one hit. But hold on, that whistle sounded a little bit odd, didn't it? Oh, well that explains it. The Proto Man you've been chasing after is actually another robot created by Dr. Wily, and his name is Darkman. After you defeat Darkman, Dr. Wily shows up once more and tells you how he framed the real Proto Man. Dr. Wily also dares you to come to his lab if you dare to free Dr. Light. So, of course, we go. We fight through the different sections and we fight 8 Robot Masters. Again. Before moving on to Dr. Wily. Again. After defeating Dr. Wily. Again. The fortress begins collapsing. You get the point. And while Mega Man is distracted from stopping the ceiling from crushing himself and Dr. Light, Wily manages yet another retreat. Just after Wily escapes, a familiar whistle is heard, and part of the ceiling is blasted away, allowing Mega Man and Dr. Light to escape. As the two watch the castle collapse from a distance, their mystery savior is revealed to be Proto Man, who quietly slips off unnoticed. Unless, you look down in the corner and see him. I mean, he's right there. Mega Man 6 takes place after the events of Mega Man 5. The first annual Robot Masters tournament is held by Mr. X with the 8 most powerful robots in the world. 8. Weird. However, Mr. X decides it's better for him to take control of the 8 robots and attempt to take over the world. So, here we go again. Play through 8 stages, defeat 8 Robot Masters, and make your way through Mr. X's castle, where you will finish off by fighting Mr. X himself. After defeating Mr. X, he lets you know that his plan has failed. And you can even tell that his plan has failed because he misspelled failed. He misspoke failed? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Failed is misspelled here. And that is hard to say. His disguise is then thrown off and he reveals himself as... drumroll? Anyone? No? Can you just put one in? No? You're not gonna put one in? Okay. Okay, well, it's Dr. Wily. Mr. X is Dr. Wily. There. As if you seriously didn't know. I mean, come on. It's Mega Man. Dr. Wily flees to another newly built Skull Castle, where you will once again fight through different sections, eventually reaching the boss rush, where you battle all 8 Robot Masters once again, before moving on to Dr. Wily himself. After defeating Dr. Wily, he collapses to the ground before showing a scene with Mega Man having him wrapped up in a rope, ready to haul off to the clink. Then, a newspaper clipping from Capcom Times shows Dr. Wily arrested and behind bars. Finally. And roll credits! As big of a Mega Man fan as I am, I do have to admit that the constant reliance on 8 Robot Masters, 4-part castles, a boss rush, and a Dr. Wily fight does tend to eat at my patience a little bit. I realize that the formula works for them and the series, as well as the fans like me. So why mess with something that works? Honestly, as much as it does kind of bug me, I'm glad they didn't try to change very much throughout the original series. This, and the gameplay, is what keeps these games classic and has me coming back for more. The small updates to the games, such as the addition of the slide in Mega Man 3, the Buster Charge in Mega Man 4, Beat in Mega Man 5, and the fusion of Rush in Mega Man 6, did make these games enjoyable to play. As far as playing these games now, unless you have a ton of time and patience on your side, along with some impressive Mega Man skills, I'd say to just go on and backlog these 3 games. While you should play them at some point in your gaming life, they aren't groundbreaking enough to warrant an immediate playthrough. If you're like me, you have more than enough games to fill the gaps until you can get around to these. Yes, Mega Man is a classic series, and in my opinion, all 6 of the NES games are worthy of being in your collection. I feel like Mega Man 4, 5, and 6 get a bad rap since this is where Capcom started to somewhat mess with the proven formula. Not too much, but apparently enough to garner a lukewarm reception from nearly everyone. There you are, everyone. That is Mega Man 4, 5, and 6 on the original Nintendo. Some of the greatest games ever made, and, of course, the greatest franchise ever made as well. Don't care what you think, Daniel. It's true. So, if you all want to see more from Video Game Book Club, and especially more on Mega March, go ahead and subscribe to us. And if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, because that makes my head swell and I get a big ego about it. But seriously guys, I will see you all next time. So there you have it, everyone. That is Mega Man 4, 5, and 6 on the original Nintendo. Some of my favorite phone.